what feels like my highest guidance today. Next week, it might be something completely different. Next year, it's going to be something completely different. If you are continually growing, it should be something completely different.
Hey, welcome to a podcast where dreams meet determination and success is just around the corner. I'm your host, Suzanne Taylor-King, and I'm here to help you unlock the full potential of your business and your life. Welcome to Unlock Your Way with STK. Let's unlock your path to success together. Good morning, everyone. Suzanne Taylor-King here for another Friday Live for Unlock Your Way with STK. I'm STK, and my guest today, Anastasia Gerali, is a spiritual mentor and the founder of Alignment Therapy. And I'm really excited for our spiritual connected conversation today. Welcome, Anastasia.
Thank you so much for having me, Suzanne. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, I feel, I often talk to people who are relative strangers, but because of the work that you do, I feel so connected to your message. So tell us a little bit about that journey, what it has been like for you. And hi to your puppy. Hi to your puppy.
Okay. Hi, puppies.
It's real world. It's real world.
Yeah, it's the real world. It happens. I did ask them to pause the barking while mommy was working, but they didn't get the memo. Thank you, Suzanne. I guess I would like to start with where this work started for me, because hopefully it will resonate with someone in your audience. I only came to this work because of my life. It was 2016 when my first husband told me that he no longer wanted to be married. And my whole world fell apart because I had worked so hard on that relationship while I was working extremely hard in my fashion business. I was a solopreneur, and everything within the space of 30 days fell apart. My health deteriorated very, very quickly. So I went into burnout almost immediately. I was left now dumped, heartbroken, depressed, soon to be divorced. I had to file for bankruptcy and close my business because I had missed all the red flags in my relationship and in my business and in my own health, that things just weren't working out. And it didn't matter how hard I was working at juggling all these things, everything was falling apart. And that was really my initiation into my personal development, which at that time, I couldn't see it for the gift that it was. But now, obviously, with enough time and distance and enough work having gone into myself, it was the blessing that I needed to find who I am today.
Well, now I know why we were supposed to connect. My story is very, very similar, and you just touched me so deeply with sharing that story. So thank you so much for that vulnerability, transparency, and willingness to share that. Because I think so many times the public sees this overnight success and this amazing human doing amazing work in the world. And, very similar. That's where my personal development journey started, getting divorced a second time at 27 and really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. My second divorce sent me down another path. So I absolutely resonate with you.
Maybe this needs to be a workshop someday.
Maybe. I mean, we make plans and then God makes bigger plans for us.
Yeah.
And we only ever get to see a little part of it. Mm-hmm. And when you're in it, you really do question yourself and doubt yourself and wonder how this formula for life that everybody else seems to be using is working for them, but not for me. And that version of me concluded that there must be something wrong with me. There must be something broken with me, because it's not working for me the way that it works for everybody else. I'm ticking all the boxes. I'm a good girl. I'm hardworking. I'm honest. I was raised right. So yeah, technically on paper, all the cards were in my favor.
Yeah.
And they were. I just wasn't playing them right because I didn't know any better. I didn't know myself any better.
Well, I think that's really the journey, don't you think, is the learning yourself in that process. And I'm so glad you mentioned that piece because, so many times we look external for approval, validation, our business, our relationships, when really everything is right in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we really do live in a world and in a system that has been designed to make us look for external validators or external evidence that we're on the right path or that we're doing the right things. And we live in this kind of comparison bubble with a full picture.
Do you think that your own personal journey with all of this really kind of catapulted you to want to help other people in this way?
I believe that everybody gets to a point when they start doing personal development work where they start to feel so much better and so much stronger that they're like, we found this elixir that we found, that we almost prematurely even want to share it with everybody before we've properly grounded into it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if, excitement or, passion about the work that you were doing on yourself, we can connect the dots looking backwards, like, oh, I did this because of this, this, and this. But it's so hard to connect the dots moving forward and know your next step and know where you're going to go. And what do you recommend in that case when, for our listeners who are feeling a little stuck and not sure where to go in the future? What do you typically recommend?
Just pick one thing and do it. It doesn't matter if it's the right thing. It's the right thing right now. Because this is my belief that your spiritual gifts will only unfold in service. You can't be honing them and trying to cultivate them, in secret. You really do have to show up visibly for yourself and for others. This is part of your purpose that we're here to fulfill, by being in service, whether that is service to self, service to God, service to others. It is all the same thing. We are expressions of God. And this is how we find ourselves, by practicing being ourselves, by practicing being more of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody talks about authenticity and, putting that out into the world. But I think so many times it's almost, a fake authenticity. That's why I don't like that word a whole lot. Because, you want to make a sale, or you want to, have clients, or you want to have connections. And I think so many times that kind of gets lost in translation on social media, because social media was meant to make us more social. But in reality, I think there's a little connection paradox there, that we've never been more connected to other people. Like, I'm near Philadelphia right now. And whereabouts in the world are you right now?
I'm in the mountain in Cyprus, in the Mediterranean.
Okay. So, there's no limits to who I can have a conversation with, like, because of technology. We're so much more connected, but I think on a mass scale, we're even more disconnected, not only from ourselves, but from each other because of all this fake authenticity that, is on social media. And I, I'm wondering, as a spiritual mentor, part of my spiritual connection to myself is being alone. Do you think that has like a disconnected feel because of social media?
Yeah, I think we don't really have that time to be with ourselves because of social media, because it's with us all the time.
Yeah.
It's on a device that we have with us 24/7. So I feel that social media, yes, the goal was to connect us with people around the world, but the purpose of social media is also to show an edited or a filtered version of your life, right? Nobody wants messy, nobody wants ugly. And ironically, the messy, ugly accounts seem to be doing really, really well because people are voyeurs, they want to look in on it, but they don't want to share it. They don't want to share their ugly. They don't want to share their messy. But yeah, definitely part of your spiritual health is spending time in solitude, and spending time with your spiritual practice, whatever that may look like for you, and really just connecting and grounding into yourself. Because when we connect with self, we're connecting with source, we're connecting with God, with the creator, with a higher consciousness, a higher part of you.
I love that explanation. Do you have any favorite go to practices or tools that help people do that?
For me, prayer and meditation. Prayer and meditation is something that you can do anywhere, anytime. There's no rules about what it needs to look like. And meditation isn't necessarily that like Buddhist monk version of you sitting in silence, cross-legged. Meditation could be painting. Meditation could be gardening. Meditation is anything that helps you to zone out and come back into your physical body. And then prayer is something that you can do anytime, anywhere, however you want to do it. It is something that is said in your heart. It is something that is felt in your mind. It is something that you can stop and pause and create a whole ritual around, or something that you can do on the go. For me, we need to have both of those, because prayer is when we talk to God self, and meditation is when God self speaks to us. It's when we're in our body and we're listening.
Oh, I love listening to what my body has to say. Um, I often talk about that gut feeling or intuition, or you just know. You just know. Well, how do you know, Sue? You just know. And
Yeah.
I've thought and I'm sure you did too, having been married twice before. Um, you just knew. And it was in that moment. It doesn't mean you just knew forever. It was in that moment. The information that we had in that moment led us to a decision. And I think
Mm.
business is so similar to that. Um,
Mm.
do you find being an entrepreneur, with this spiritual side to you, that it actually gives you a little bit of an advantage?
Well, now I have a different kind of knowingness, like you say. In my first marriage, and my second marriage, and my first few business ventures, when we say I just knew, it was also a very cognitive decision, right? It was a lot of it came from ego. Like, I know because I want this, versus I know because I feel this. Whereas now, if I don't feel it, it doesn't matter what my brain tells me, that on paper it makes sense. On paper, this works. What does my body tell me? My body's wisdom is infinite. And my body is, as you said, that gut instinct, that intuition, that flutter in your heart, or that expansion that you feel in your lungs. It looks different for different people. But that knowingness, that is an inner standing versus an understanding.
Mm, well said. Well said. Totally agree. There's a trust there with decision making that comes. Um, do most of your clients struggle with that internal trust in the beginning?
In the beginning, yes, that's part of the big reason why they come to work with me is because they have a lot of doubt. They have a lot of maybe patterns that, and habits and patterns that have been in play for decades that is keeping them out of alignment with their full divine potential. So that's one of the main reasons that they want to work with me, is because they want to clear it out, and they want to make sure that they're recognizing and they're fluent in that higher self language. Because when you're fluent in it, there's no miscommunication, there's no misunderstanding.
Yeah. It really, do you think it's helpful to have a clear picture of who that person is in your mind? And I'll give this example that we've all had a time in our life when we look the best, felt the best, um, that high point, I call it a happiness like set point almost.
Mm.
And I think it's about not settling for that happiness set point
Mm.
of, oh, when I was 24, I was in this kind of shape and I did this. And
Yes.
you're setting yourself up for not feeling great about yourself, comparing yourself to another version of yourself. Yet at the same time, I feel, and I love your take on being in alignment with who that best version of yourself is. Like, so if it's here and that best version of myself is just 1% improved, what does that look like as far as seeing it, being it, stepping into it?
Yeah, absolutely. If we think that we've peaked at some point in our life already, then that's true. Then
Yeah.
we have already peaked. I programmed myself and I programmed my clients as well to believe that every single year, every single day, week, month, I get better and better and better. And as a result, it's become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sure, I'm getting older. I can't defy time or gravity. But everything in my life continues to get better and better. And I truly do believe that the more myself I am, the closer that I am to my alignment, the more in alignment I am, the more beautiful I am, the more radiant I am, the more magnetic I am. And that's regardless of time, that's regardless of age. And as a result, I get to have everything that I desire. Literally, I get to have the best relationship that I've ever had. I get to live in the best life that I've ever had, the best home I've ever had. These are things that I couldn't possibly have had a crystal clear picture on because I didn't know this version of myself. I was a different version of myself. So I was manifesting very egoically. I was manifesting in a very different path on a very surface level. So on the surface, I had it all, but it didn't feel fulfilling. Whereas now I'm so satiated. I lack nothing in my life. Everything is at the max and it just continues to overflow. And because I have this overflow, I'm able to give to more people. I'm able to be more generous. I'm able to be more kind, more grounded, more at peace.
Yeah. Wow. I love that so, so much. Um, what did it look like, before you felt like this as an entrepreneur? Um,
Mm,
what did that I don't mean the journey. I mean the emotional side of being out of alignment. What knowing you could feel like you feel today.
mm.
What did that where was that for you? I
Well,
think
I didn't know that I could feel the way that I feel today. But what I did know was that I felt hungry all the time. I felt hungry for the next financial milestone. I felt hungry for the next quarter, the next season. There was always a new goal. And even when I achieved goals, the satisfaction from them wore off pretty quickly, because almost immediately I would go to the next goal, the next milestone, the next, the next task, the next thing that I needed to do. So
Yeah.
I would equate that to just feeling hungry all the time, that nothing was ever enough. And in fact, that was something that my second husband even said to me. He said, nothing's ever enough for you. And I was like, of course not, because the world is infinite. Like, I can continue to grow, and I can. And I still very much have that, but I don't have that feeling of not enoughness, which, he was into it enough to feel that from me, that there was a lack coming from me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's, um, it's making me feel as though so many entrepreneurs
Mm,
constantly setting goals, constantly strive, work, right? And it's a cycle. It's a cycle of, never enoughness. And I think that's
mm,
why so many entrepreneurs struggle with not only imposter syndrome, but overworking, burning out,
mm.
and it never being good enough. Um,
Yeah.
and, high performance habits for me, I love them. I
Mm,
love being an overachiever,
mm,
but at the same time, there's this balance. There's
mm,
this, and I don't really like the word balance. There's really not another word for it, but it's a yin and a yang of
mm.
achieving, but also being content with where you are at the same time. Of course, I
Yeah.
have goals. Of course, I encourage all of my clients to have goals and get better and improve themselves.
Mm,
But at the same time, being happy and content and at peace in alignment, like you say, with yourself, I think
mm.
that's the struggle for most entrepreneurs is that.
Yeah. Michael Singer wrote the book, the Surrender Experiment. Have you read it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a really, really great example of what it looks like to be surrendered to this bigger thing unfolding through you, and not have a lack, or not have that hunger that drives you, but rather just a surrender to something bigger unfolding through your service, through your commitment, through your devotion to the thing that you love. And I really, really loved everything that he shared in that book, even his resistance to growth sometimes, because that required a different version of him to be birthed, right?
Yeah.
It required a different identity to come through him versus the one that had it all figured out and had these goals and had these milestones and was trying to force things to go according to plan, rather than being flexible and being responsive to how things are unfolding through you and for you.
Yeah. I love that because I I think a lot of times people assume that I have it all figured out because I'm content and happy and, in the moment. They think that behind the scenes, that means everything's perfect and all
Mm,
figured out and all automated and all, whatever. And I just said to somebody early this morning that I don't know. I I don't have it all figured out. I'm still figuring out what that looks like. And it was something social media business related,
mm,
right? And I said, it's important to understand that it's an experiment,
mm,
that it's is this type of post going to work, on LinkedIn? And do I put that same thing on Instagram? I don't know. You have to figure that out for you and your message and your people. I'm still figuring it out for me. And she looked at me like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I thought everything you do was perfect. I thought it was all like, it's an experiment, and just be willing to experiment, not only with social media, but with other things in business as well.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what? That is having it figured out. Being so present that you know that it's an experiment, it's a journey,
Yeah.
and then all that I need to do is be able to read the data of my life, the data of my business, the data of my emotions. All of that is data for you. So that's telling you, do more of this, do less of this. Even your emotions are telling you, do more of this, do less of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really what we need to be listening for, isn't it?
Yeah. And the more you know yourself, the better you know yourself, the easier it is to listen to yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, then all the noise is going to get in the way, isn't it? All the noise of what you should be doing and what you could be doing better and what he's doing better and what she's doing better versus what feels right for me right now. What feels like my highest guidance today? Because next week it might be something completely different. Next year it's going to be something completely different. If you are continually growing, it should be something completely different.
That's a great reminder too. I remember years ago spending, I couldn't even tell you how much working with different coaches, some very, very expensive masterminds, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 one time. And all of those different times, I thought that I was going to get the guidance that I needed to, make money and do this coaching thing. And I remember all of a sudden, a light switch flipped because I was learning about myself, that those things I was learning, great information. I'm not discounting that, but it wasn't the way I was going to grow my business or my coaching or my skills, my relationships, any of it. It wasn't my way. And so I was learning all these other ways, which that's benefited me in my coaching practice for other people. But my way of growing my business was the way I had originally thought. So I could have avoided spending all of that money and I could regret it, but I don't, because of all the things I learned. I just learned those things for other people.
Yeah,
And
I
it
hear
was
you.
such a great flip for me. So instead of wasting that money, because that's not even how I grow my business, it becomes, oh, I got to learn all of those things for other people. Amazing. Amazing. That brought more alignment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would love to talk a little bit about your place in the world. Like, how did you come to live where you're living and have, the nicest home you've ever had and a healthy relationship? And what did that journey look like for you?
It looked a little bit like Michael Singer's The Surrender Experiment. I remember it was 2022, and every year, instead of goals and vision boards and all these, New Year's resolutions, rituals that people have, I download a word for the year. And then I know that whatever challenges or opportunities I get will help me to go deeper into this word. And 2022 was my year of surrender. So I had made a very kind of clear set of rules that this is the year that I'm recovering from my heartbreak. I'm really just getting to know myself and date myself, which is, an experiment of its own.
Yes.
Um, and and that was the year that I got so many lessons and so many opportunities to just ground deeper and deeper into faith, to ground deeper into surrendering. And whenever I was challenged or whenever I found myself uncomfortable, I wanted to revert back to my old ways of trying to fix things or trying to force things. And then I remembered, hang on, this is your surrender year. So whatever is happening, let it. Let it. And your duty is just to respond to it differently. And that was such a challenging year, but it was the year that I grew the most. And because I grounded into that with absolute devotion and commitment, everything unfolded for me in a way that I could never have plans to. I could never have planned to meet my partner the way that I met him in a mini market. I could never have planned to move up here to the mountains. This was never on my radar. This was never on any of my vision boards to live in a really remote place, in the mountains with tons of animals. And yet that actually worked out and turned out to be the best thing that I could ever have done for myself. And all I did was say yes. So when my partner came, I said yes. When this house came, I said yes. And it wasn't a yes I wanted. It was this is the edge of my comfort zone, but I'm going to trust it. And it worked out. It worked itself out for me. It didn't require that much effort from me. It didn't require that much planning from me, which saved me a lot of time and energy to effort and plan in other areas of my life that maybe I had neglected because I was so busy trying to micromanage everything in my life.
That's a really great, personal takeaway from it, from actually surrendering for a year or more. I'm sure you're still practicing it, right? But this idea that by doing that, you're actually freeing up space for other things. And I always use this example with freeing up space. There's two types of people in the world. There's the type of people that when they're going on vacation, they, for 3 weeks, maybe longer, leading up to the vacation, they're putting stuff aside, they're packing, they're checking off, things on their printed out list that they use for every trip. Shout out to my husband who packs this way. And then there's me, who the day before I get out the suitcase and I plan out,
Throw in whatever.
No, I definitely plan out outfits like, I'll need, shorts for the morning. I'll need this on whatever. I do plan, but I literally do it in an hour the night before leaving. And we drive each other crazy with that style of doing things. And I would say that the surrender piece, is kind of like that. If you are a planner and you pack for 4 to 6 weeks before you go away, well, gosh, the space that you're taking up, thinking every day, don't forget this. Oh, don't forget that. Oh, don't forget this. I never think about any of that until I have to.
Exactly.
And that's just a skill that I've developed over the years, to not think about things and over plan or over analyze or over stress even
Yeah.
about things until I have to.
But
It's really
Sue,
good.
that also shows that you trust yourself.
Yeah.
You trust yourself enough to know that if something comes up, I'll be able to problem solve on the spot. I
Correct.
don't need to go into all these, worst case scenarios and build bridges that I'm not going to be crossing. So that shows a lot of self-trust and a lot of trust in the universe that whatever happens, I will find a way to make it work, or I will find a solution on the spot.
Mhm. But that doesn't come, you have to do that inner work to get to that point. It's kind of like prepping. I still prep for like stage talks. I still prep. I still, write note cards. I still rehearse a little bit. But when the moment comes, I never use the note cards. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like that. I trust that I could get on stage and talk if I wanted to, but I also prep so that I trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There's a fine line between,
Yeah.
preparation and complete negligence. It's not about neglecting your responsibilities. It's just giving yourself just enough support, and then knowing that the rest of the way you've got but it's a skill that you developed as well. I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
that's something that can be cultivated for everybody, particularly when we're doing trauma work and we're doing healing work. The lack of trust in ourselves and the world and the universe is something that comes from a deep rooted core trauma. So once we heal from that, then it like you said, it just takes up less space, it
Yeah.
takes up less energy, but it doesn't mean that you've gone from one end of the spectrum to the complete opposite, where you don't care and you don't take care of yourself. You do prepare, but you prepare responsibly and enough to know that you have the support, like the cards that you need for if you need them on stage.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the overall message that I get from you and what you do, and your website and your social is this idea of preparing but yet also trusting. It's like such a beautiful balance
Mm.
with alignment right in the center. So thank you
Yeah.
for the work that you do. What are you working on right now in your business? What's happening?
Right now, I'm really excited about reopening up an old membership, which I have closed for 4 years now, and it's reopening. It's called the Awakened Millionaire, and
Mhm.
it is for spiritual entrepreneurs that want to raise their wealth consciousness. So we do a lot of money mindset work. We do a lot of spiritual work, as in grounding deeper into your purpose so that you can serve from a place of abundance rather than from a place of lack. That way you become a magnet for the exact ideal clients. Your message is effortless and authentic. There's no intention behind it beyond wanting to be of service. And I feel like you were saying before about authenticity, how it's like thrown around. Someone might be looking the parts and talking the right words, but energetically you can feel there's like a slight disconnect. And it's really
Yeah.
strange because you can never put your finger on it. It's just something that you feel. Even though you really like this person, something about them is just not pushing you to say, pay to play.
Yeah.
It's just, I'll stand on the outskirts and watch all their free stuff and sign up for all their freebies, versus I actually want to work with this person
Yeah.
because I feel drawn to be with this person.
Yeah. I love that explanation because so many times that happens in the online space, and this idea of bringing people together in community, whether it's free or paid or a mastermind group or high ticket coaching, it doesn't matter. The idea of attracting people to what you do and how you're serving in the world, alignment is so important. And, that
It's
energy
everything.
of is just, It is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's absolutely everything. Like if you're not in alignment, your lifestyle isn't in alignment, your relationships aren't in alignment, your career isn't in alignment, then it doesn't matter how hard you hustle and grind, it's gonna feel like a slog.
Yes. Perfect place to wrap up. I think that is the message of our conversation today.
Thank you so much, Sue.
Oh,
And appreciate you too.
Oh, you too. I know we're relatively new connections, and many of my listeners do not know you. So, how can they get in touch with you?
The best place to follow me is on Instagram and LinkedIn. And that's where you'll be able to hear about things like my community or my certification program as well, because I have the alignment therapy certification, which I help other coaches, teachers, therapists, healers to help their clients to permanently heal, release, rewrite, and reprogram themselves for success.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your open and honest conversation today. I appreciate you.
Me too.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Unlock Your Way. I hope you found today's discussion inspiring and you're ready to take your business and personal growth to that next level. If you're feeling as fired up as I am and eager to unlock that full potential, I'm here to help you on your journey and provide that personalized guidance tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Simply book a one-on-one coaching call with me and we'll dive deep into your business aspirations and see how we could co-create a roadmap for your success. And whether you're striving to scale an enterprise or just getting started, I'm here to support you every step of the way. To schedule your coaching call, simply visit the website at unlockyourwaywithstk.com, click on the Book a Call button, and we'll turn your dreams into that reality. Subscribe and review on your favorite podcast platform and on YouTube. Plus, you can join over 800 entrepreneurs in the Idea Lab Facebook group. Let's make success as an entrepreneur happen together. Until next time, I'm STK. Keep dreaming big, stay focused, and most of all, have fun while you're doing it.
This show is powered by Media Leads. To get your next great podcast produced, go to MediaLeadsCo.com.